This is Trophy Gold, the Rime Palace Part 3, I think, 2 or 3, maybe. I think it's 3. We've already caught Alicia up on what Nevin missed last time, but I do want to do just like a basic recap, in particular, like a character stat block recap. But essentially, where you're at right now is you've just entered into this like sort of moonlit ballroom, and we're going to talk about that in a bit, having survived the game room and the spider pit. And let's take a look at character stats, because it's starting to get important, right? Because you can't leave until you've met your burdens, right? In treasure. So let's talk about Nevin. Nevin, you currently have 4 burdens. You have 0 gold cash, but you do have some treasure in your found equipment that has value. And you have 1 hunt token as well. And your current ruin stands at 4. You also have the condition Fey Touch, which I think is going to be really interesting in this upcoming scene. And I'd like to lean into that as we play. Osto, you have 5 burdens, 0 cash, but a fair amount of treasure. 1 hunt token and 3 ruin. You're actually in pretty good shape. You have the conditions Starbull and My Destiny. And we saw Starbull come out last time in really dramatic fashion, so that was fun. Esfahan, you currently have 5 burdens, also 0 gold in cash, but you also have quite a lot of just treasure. 2 hunt tokens, that's also very good, but regrettably 5 ruin. That's going to be the hard part. And you are also currently limping, which is probably not going to help in the next scene, so we'll see how that goes. And so that's sort of where the characters are at. I don't have any other questions or anything else I think we need to discuss. Does anybody else? Okay. Then let's talk about the new set. So basically, the way I've decided to do this is when Esfahan, Osto, and Syrah Morris, who you have not really met yet, Nevin, when you all basically clambered up from the other side of the spider pit into the next corridor, Nevin was just there. Nevin basically took the long way around once they realized that the games room was in a crazy state. And so we're just going to pick up with that. Syrah sort of like just doesn't even like question who you are, just hands you a mask and is ready to like get going. He's been promised for his help that you're all going to get him out of there, right? And so, but his help has also it's had some gaps. Like he failed to tell Esfahan and Osto about the crystal spider pit beneath the game room, for example. So we're not quite sure what to think of Syrah yet. These masks, though, I should point out, because just so you know what they are and what they look like, they are made of solidified fog, silver filigree, and birch bark. And essentially, wearing one makes you appear as a Rime Court noble. The Rime Court nobles will think you're a Rime Court noble. So, and in particular, the Guardians will think you're a Rime Court noble. And so the set we're in right now is called the Masquerade Garden. And it has the goal, unlock the stairs to the Rime throne. I'll type that for you here.
In line with the scene, is there like visible stairs?
No,
with that symbol?
You do not see
Okay,
any stairs.
interesting.
So this is what you see: a vast wintry garden with what appears to be a marble dance floor, surrounded by frost-dusted topiaries of humanoid creatures in poses of romantic embrace. There are roses with mirror-like petals blooming at the bases of these topiaries. And above, you see what appears to be a sky lit by multiple unfamiliar moons. There are dark, starry, wolf-like beasts prowling the edge of the space. They look like wolves made of like little galaxies, like pure starlight, right? Or like night sky. But wolf-shaped. And they are sort of like patrolling the dance floor, walking in between the topiaries. There's several of them. And on the dance floor itself, you see flickering wisps of light sort of darting to and fro. and quite a number of them. And so, Esfahan, you're here at a ball of some sort, or at least there's a dance floor, and you have a limp, which is maybe not the best thing. The irony is deep and rich, but I am curious, what do you do at this point, Esfahan?
The limp will definitely hinder her, but she's definitely danced with worse before. But it's also been a very, very long time since she's danced at any sort of court. So there is that sort of, I do want to do this, but also it's been a very long time. I don't know how I feel about it anymore. And so she takes about 2 halting steps forward, and then she just kind of stops, thinks about it a little more.
Stowe, what are you doing?
She's very stuck.
Yeah.
I think the only time where Osto has been in chambers as guilt and opulent as this are with this group on his way to steal something. And so I think he mostly feels a little bit out of place right now. I think he's just looking for what's of value in here. And kind of monitoring those wolves prowling a little bit warily. And like, I think he like reaches up and touches and makes sure that the mask is well affixed to his face.
How are you searching for valuables? Just looking, or anything in particular you're doing?
I think right now he's just like, he's scanning the room and like looking for what he's already found, like some like rather interesting artifacts here, right? He's got these globes back at the ship if we ever get back there, and other like things we've run across in this area. So I think he's looking for whatever looks particularly shiny, I guess. This is like a survey right now. He's not going to grab anything yet because wolves.
Make a hunt roll. Yeah.
Sure. For a second I looked for my dice, but then I remembered. Just 1 light.
Unless you can make a case for one of your skills, like metal, maybe. But
yeah, I would only apply like think of metal as like
Yeah.
looking like he's familiar with what's precious in that regard.
you could take it. I mean, I've already described that there are like kind of mirror-like roses there, so maybe that's something that will draw your attention, I think.
Okay.
You encounter something terrible with 2 twos. Die roller getting us kicked off really well. We'll come back to that. Nevin, there are lots of things to look at around here apart from the dance floor. I'm curious. Well, Sarah, I think, has been like asking you lots of questions about like, no one is supposed to be able to go around the games room. He was led to believe that the only way to reach this part of the Rime Palace was through the games room. How did you manage to get on the other side of it? And it's not like, oh, I'm in awe of you. It's more like, that's very annoying.
I'm just gonna look at him really sincerely and be like, oh, I thought I heard a bird. I just followed the bird sound.
He says, oh, it's incredible. I mean, it makes a certain amount of sense that the 3 of you should have gotten this far. One makes me think that the Rime Court nobles have overlooked a key element of their security, which is to say, if one is merely detached, they are able to slip past a great deal. It's the clever ones that have something to really, really worry about. Congratulations to you. Sarah is...
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna be like, thank you. And then I want to walk away from the conversation because I don't care. I know what I want to do, but
well, what do you want to do?
yeah, sure, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to make friends with a space wolf, galaxy wolf
Okay,
thing.
good. You can walk right up to one. What do you do?
I think that I mean, so Nevin spends time mostly alone in the woods, only with other creatures. So I feel like I have a good sense of like how to approach wildlife. So, and also I imagine there's a little bit of a Disney princess thing that happens with Nevin where like creatures just flock to him.
We'll see.
And so I think he just like moves slowly forward, convinced that this is gonna go fine because it always goes fine. And I feel like I have food for Goat. I didn't bring Goat with me, but I have food for Goat. My goat's name is Goat. And I'm going to like toss some. I'm gonna get maybe within like one sort of body's length away from one of these things and toss some of Goat's food.
Yeah, make a 2-die hunt roll, because I think all you can really do is learn something about the situation. There's no other immediate danger.
I rolled, but my lunch just arrived, so I will be right back.
Okay, go ahead. Esfahen, while that's going on, well, the other two are sort of getting the lay of the land. I will remind you, as Kavya, that risk rolls are incredibly dangerous for you right now because 6 will send you straight off the edge. Combat's not so bad so long as you have armor. I don't know if you have armor or not. You do. So combat, you're okay for a bit, but be careful of risk rolls. So what do you do?
Esfahan has realized that she is once again as beaten down as she was last time when Revel yanked her out of the dungeons, and she turns to Sarah actually, and she says, "Anything we should watch out for here that you forgot about?"
He says, "Well, truth be told, I didn't make it past the game room. I made a wager with the previous game's warden that I would take the collar if I lost the game we were playing. I don't know why I would make such a wager, because I not only hate games, but I'm actually quite bad at them. And so I found myself in that situation. No, I've never been here. I have no idea what to expect."
Maybe we should dance.
I'm
after
going to
you.
guess that the wolves made of night sky are probably dangerous. That's what I intuit about the situation.
Thank you for your mind-shattering insight.
And yet, your companion over there appears to be trying to feed one. How does a creature made of night sky and starlight eat? These are not considerations that I've ever thought about. I feel like we're about to learn something very, very important and insightful.
Internal combustion.
Indeed. Osto, you are approached by another one of the wolves. There are 2 wolves in play right now. And it comes up to you, and it's sort of like bobbing and weaving as if it's trying to figure out what you are. It seems to be concerned that you're not like walking onto the dance floor. Like, what are you doing? Just hanging around, right? And it speaks. It says, "I'm the end of time, but the beginning of everything. What am I?"
I think Osto almost cocks his head quizzically. "You're the end of time and the beginning of everything. You just said that."
The wolf does not have eyes that you can discern, but it certainly rears back as if to suggest it's feeling trepidatious about your answer and doesn't quite know. I think it maybe is accustomed to Rime Court noble humor, but doesn't quite know how to process this. Esfahan, you can probably have seen that and overheard that. What do you do?
Well, I definitely know it's the riddle, but I, Meta, do not know the answer because I am terrible at riddles. Esfahan has spent a lot of time at court, and there is a 50% possibility she has an answer. So I'm just going to take a minute to try to think of an answer.
Do not look it up on the internet.
No, that would be cheating.
But it is a riddle, though, Osto, if that helps.
I suspected it was a riddle, but I don't. I think at first, at least, Osto would just take it at face value. It's like, who am I? Well, you just told me who you were. I mean, it's a long name, sure, but I think.
Wait, it said end
yeah,
of
go ahead.
time and beginning of everything, right?
Yes.
The letter E.
If you say the letter E, the wolf will sort of, the tension will like ease, and the wolf will continue on its patrol.
Didn't even touch goat's food.
Well, this is a different wolf. Nevin's wolf looks down at the food and then looks up at Nevin. And again, like I think it thinks maybe you're fucking with it, but it doesn't know, you know? And so it just does what it knows to do. And it says, 2 arms, 2 legs, no heart, all hide. What am I? 2 arms, 2 legs, no heart, all hide. What am I?
Did I hear what happened with the other two?
Maybe.
Am I close
Yeah.
enough? I'm not really sure.
Yeah. Perhaps. I mean, I'm
Okay.
sure Espen can just call over that it's a riddle.
And she does.
Oh no. Oh no. Nevin is not good at riddles. Neither is Alicia.
Sarah says,
I feel you.
perhaps misunderstood or underestimated the security measures that the Rime Court nobles have implemented for those of us who are perhaps not as quick on our toes, mentally speaking.
Rude. I think that actually, instead of trying to answer the riddle, I'm going to. I understand that they think that we're part of the sort of Fae court, right?
Yeah, this is basically them like confirming, right? Like when you behave in a strange way they don't expect, this is what they do.
I'm going to start some kind of strange ritualized dancing.
Okay.
As if I'm dancing as part of the Fae court.
But not on the dance floor.
Oh, I'll move to the dance floor if that's what I
moving
need.
to the dance floor is different.
Yeah.
If you're moving to the dance floor, as soon as you move to the dance floor, the little bobbing wisps of light, they basically they resolve into gorgeous glittering Rime Court nobles, frolicking and trading witty remarks. The Rime Court nobles are semi-solid and semi-translucent lords and ladies, all tall, pale, and gorgeous with elegant branching antlers. They wear gossamer gowns, calfskin gloves. They have ceramic swords and birch armor and many glittering pieces of crystal and jewelry. And when you step onto the dance floor, a couple of them will sort of like look over and they'll lean into each other and do a little hubbub, hubbub, like, we don't know you. So it's different when you step onto the dance floor. What do you do then, Nevin? And the wolf leaves you alone. Like stepping on the dance floor is the right answer.
Okay, all right, excellent.
Yeah.
So, having understood that the wolf situation is resolved, now maybe there's a new situation. I'm gonna like bow with a strange like flourish at these people who are like whispering about me. And then I'm going to turn and wave really awkwardly at the rest of my party.
So the thing is, when Nevin stepped onto the dance floor, you don't see that wave because Nevin turned into a little bouncing ball of light.
Well then.
From your perspective, Esfahan and Osto. And the Star Wolf is like doing this with its head.
Oh boy.
Sarah says, I think he wants us to go on the dance floor.
So I'm just going to gently push him on.
So as Esfahan is pushing Sarah that direction, Osto will say to Esfahan, That's not supposed to happen, is it?
In all my time dancing at courts, I have never seen this, so I don't think so.
Sarah, let us know how it is. Go dance and come back. Find Nevin.
I didn't realize I was taking orders now. Interesting. But yes, I'll go. And he goes, and he also disappears into a little ball of light. And Nevin, you see Sarah step onto the dance floor. And he says, my. If it isn't my incredibly tall and elegant and beautiful captors, I shall do my best to play my part here. Nevin, I suggest you do as well.
Oh, you don't want to punch them? I would want to punch my captors.
Oh, I have plans far beyond punching them, trust me. But
okay.
This is one of those situations where you have to stay your hand until an opportunity presents itself. It's sort of higher order thinking and planning. We shall discuss it at some length.
You're not very nice, but you did give me this, so I appreciate that. Why did my brother and Esfahan not come?
I don't know. I think the
Can't
Star
they see
Wolves
me?
are getting increasingly agitated about them not stepping onto the dance floor.
I'm just going to keep waving, just gesturing.
He says, oh, we can't see that.
Oh, that explains it.
You just look like a...
Although when we were young, you know, Osto used to play this game where he would pretend like he didn't see me or hear me, and I would like follow him, and I would be like, I'm here, and then he would just be like pretending like I wasn't there. So I thought maybe that's what we were doing.
My goodness, you're still talking. I'm going to go dance. And he walks off to go find a dance partner. And he gets swept up in a couple of Rime Court nobles and they're dancing. Esfahan and Osto.
I think Osto, after Sarah departs to the floor and does not return, I think he's like, well, I would rather deal with the lights than the wolves. How about you, Esfahan?
A fair point was made by you. We can dance.
Is there still a woman strapped to Osto's back, or did Nevin
I thought
take?
Nevin had her.
Nevin had her, but I think we're just going to say that Editha...
I definitely threw her somewhere.
Editha's like propped against a wall somewhere. That's what I'm imagining. Like, we'll pick you up later.
We're never going to find her again.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. I mean, at least we got her closer to her goal.
It's true. It's true. Star Wolf makes a noise.
All right. We'll dance. Oh, I gotta stretch a little bit first. All right. And Osto will like hold a hand out to Esfahan and gesture to the dance floor.
This is perfect. I've been waiting all week to do this. Yes, let's dance. And she puts her hand in Osto's.
Very good. Very good.
And
Thank you.
yes, they step out.
I love it. The Rime Court nobles. They all have antlers, which is interesting, and strange armor and weapons, and they're very tall and pale and somewhat translucent. And one of them walks up to you. She says to you, Esfahan, "My name is Lady Moth. Of course, that's not my real name. We don't use our real names here. I just like the way it sounds. I don't even know what a moth is. I couldn't help but notice that you are favoring your leg."
I am Lady Starlight.
Lady Starlight.
And
Yes.
it hasn't hindered me before. It shan't hinder me now.
Right. Yes, that's the spirit. Excellent. Lady Starlight, can I interest you? And she puts her hand out to dance.
God damn it, I know what I have to do here. Esfahan is a little hesitant, but she can't show it because hesitance will probably get you killed. That's what she's learned at court. So she does put her hand in this other Fey noble's hand and dances.
Good. A Rime Court noble approaches you, Osto, and there's actually two of them. And one of them, he looks at you and he says, "I don't believe we've met. I'm Lord Siege. This is Dame Spar. And you are?"
I am Marquis Horn.
"Oh, yes. Yes, Marquis Horn. I've heard of you. You are, yes, we all know you very well. So, Marquis
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
tell us what you've
We
heard."
met at the thing. So what is at the end of time and the beginning of everything?
They look at each other. And they look at you. And they just begin bursting out laughing. Dame Spar says, "I like you, Marquis Horn. I, of course, have heard all the stories about your legendary wit, and it's wonderful to see the legend is true. So, do you like a bit of gossip, Marquis Horn?"
I think he looks across and sees that most people on the floor are dancing, and this is like so preferable to that. And so he's like, "I do. I fancy a little bit of gossip from time to time."
"Well, let us tell you a story about Lady Moth." And they look over at Lady Moth and Esfahan. And Lord Seed says, "Lady Moth has, how shall we say, unique appetites, as I fear our dear Lady Starlight is going to discover soon enough." Meanwhile, Nevin, you will be approached by a woman, or a Fey Court noblewoman. She's wearing a sort of like a very like kind of, her mask has like a very like elaborate like kind of multicolored feather thing going on, right? Her gown is woven with feathers. And she says, "I am Lady Peril." And she says it like that, Peril.
I think it's pronounced peril.
She says, "And you are?"
I just take a moment. It's an awkward moment. And I'm going to look down because I still have those two elder deer
Elder
thing
stag horns.
Yeah. I am the elder of the horns.
She says, "Oh, yes, of course you are." So, elder of the horns, perhaps you can help me decide something.
I should warn you, most people do not come to me for advice.
Oh, is that because you have ideas that are avant-garde or taboo?
I think that might be true. People
Well,
often react with shock when I open my mouth.
oh, I have that similar effect on people. So here's my predicament. My court has recently captured a group of human beings back in our realm, trespassing, you know how they do, and we can't decide what to do with them. I think we should eat them, but of course, that is been dismissed out of hand. It's considered vulgar, barbaric. It's the sort of thing that we don't do anymore, that we haven't done for centuries. But I think there's something to be said for the old ways. What say you, Elder?
For a twist, you could have humans eat you.
And she gets this wild look in her eyes, like, oh my, you are controversial indeed. Indeed, indeed. My goodness. Well, would you like to dance?
Yes, but I must warn you, much like my words, my dancing is unpredictable.
I would say unconventional. And she takes your hand and leads you out to the dance floor. How are things going with Lady Moth, Esfahen? Are you keeping up, given your injury?
I think she's unable to dance as vigorously, so she's taken to favoring more slow, deliberate motions in a more contemporary style to cover the fact that this is in fact hindering her, but it doesn't quite match too well with what Lady Moth is trying to do. So there's a bit of a disconnect there.
She says, Lady Starlight, you are here. Let me show you. And she sort of like, kind of like changes your position and kind of like twists you and turns you and moves you around. She says, we have a certain way of doing things here at the Rime Court, and I don't want you to commit any social faux pas in front of the others. So follow my lead. And then she's trying to like show you the steps and show you the proper way to do it. And yes.
You're rather altruistic, aren't you, Lady Moth?
She says,
One must wonder where it comes from.
She says, oh, don't worry, my dear. You can repay me later. So, and she's kind of, you know, kind of guiding you through. And she's like, there, you're getting the hang of it. And she says, you're still favoring that leg, though. I find that the best way to overcome pain is to distract yourself with more pain. And she like steps on your other foot very sharply. It is very painful. And she says, see there, you've already forgotten it. And she continues moving you through the dance.
Esfahan has stiffened. Like the moment Lady Moth started with, you know, the best way, she already knew it was not going to go well. And now she's looking around for Sarah, Nevin, and Osto to see if she can spot them and extract herself from the situation. She just has those big help me eyes.
Lady Siege and Dame Spar look over and see Lady Starlight's like pleading look, and they say, oh look, Lady Starlight wants us to quit being gossiping hens and go out onto the dance floor with her. What say you, Marquis de Horn?
I think he sees like the notable distress that Esfahan is in, and he nods. And I think that I was born to dance.
Yes, that's
Not
the
that-
spirit.
Not that, and like, sort of stepping out into new territory. Not that any of us were born. You're muted, Jason.
They pause for a moment and they consider your words. They look at you askance, and then they just bust out laughing again.
And Osto does too nervously.
Your incredible wit.
And yeah, he'll start boogie woogieing his way towards where Esfan is.
Indeed. Eventually, all of the Rime Court nobles are on the dance floor, engaged in the dance. The music is very beautiful. You don't know where it's coming from. You don't see any musicians, but it's it's like sort of it's like a waltz, but it's very heightened. It's heightened and otherworldly. And if you were taking the time to listen to the music closely, you would be able to hear strange notes and movements within it that probably are not even capable by human musicians. They couldn't even do it, right? It's not even clear what instruments are being played. We have a role here called the dance role. It is like a combat role, except the ruin comes from terrible social faux pas you commit because of your bad dancing. And so I will put the rules to the role in the chat so that you can follow along with me. This is for people watching the video too. Treasure hunters can attempt a dance roll to move gracefully through the throng of nobles and win boons from them. This role functions similarly to, but not identical to, the combat role. You all have partners already, and you will each roll a light die to represent your weak point and say how you are at risk of making a social faux pas with your dance partner or dance partners in the case of Osto. You then roll a number of dark dice equal to the number of treasure hunters participating in the dance, and you have to hit a 10, just like a normal combat roll. If you win, though, you each get to claim a boon from your dance partner. If you do not succeed, you can stay on the dance floor and beg for a dance from another partner, but you have to add dark dice to keep going. And the masks function as armor. They can be used to absorb any ruins suffered, but then you are maskless, and that's a problem. So, and of course, you can drop out as a normal combat roll. You must hand your weak point to another player and explain how your hasty departure from the dance brings unwelcome scrutiny down on them. So that's sort of where we're at. Everyone is dancing. Everyone, please say how you're vulnerable in the dance, how you're could possibly F this up, and then roll weak.
So Nevin's vulnerability is that the only dancing he has seen is at the queer club at the closest town, and so he essentially only does go-go style cage dancing, which is decidedly not what this court is looking for.
Probably not. Roll weak. Or Esfahan.
Esfahan is now in intense pain and very angry with her dance partner. She is very, very likely to just probably try to either embarrass her or step on her or something like that. But also if I fuck this up, I die.
That is
Weak
true.
point is 2 again.
Indeed. Very good. Weak point 2, weak point 4. Osto, how are you vulnerable socially?
Yeah, I think Osto, like the most dancing he's done is kind of like, if you're imagining like some more like folk dancing, square dancing sort of stuff, like more like group. It is like a group dance in the same way that is what's currently happening on the dance floor here, just of a radically different variety, and so like he's just utterly unfamiliar with these steps, and so Osto is like trying very hard to copy what he's seeing around him, and that is a limiting feature for sure.
Very good. Esfahan, you can take the die roll. And what's your weak point, Osto? 4. 4 is the bad number. Esfahan, go ahead and roll a combat 3, and we're looking for 10 on the 2 highest dice. It is a 5, a 4, and a 3, which the 2 highest is a 9. That is not enough. And Nevin and Osto are both taking a point of ruin. Essentially, social ruin. But also it could get a little violent too, I suppose. Lady Moth has made it clear that she's into pain. We don't really know too much about Lady Peril or Dame Spar or Lord Siege and their behavior. But we're going to kick off the dance. When we get back from a short break, we'll take 5, we'll come back and do the dance. This part of it, at least. The dance roll has happened. It is a 9. That is not good enough. And a 4 was rolled, which means Osto and Nevin are going to take ruin unless they mark their mask. But marking their mask requires them to lose it, and they have to get off the dance floor, or at least start trying to explain what they're doing there. It could not be good. So let's begin the dance. Esfahan, how's it going to start?
It starts off with Esfahan dancing a little more aggressively, kind of trying to take the lead, and she's actively trying to push Lady Moth into what she considers might be a faux pas, but Lady Moth endures brilliantly somehow, and Esfahan is incensed.
Yeah, I think Esfahan, I get the impression that like the Rime Court nobles are used to like fucking each other over in moments like this, and so she knows how to like avoid it. I like the idea of this like interesting like social interaction happening via dance, right? This sort of like back and forth, like, but yet it looks very like lovely and cordial. Nevin, give us a little bit of your dance. How's it going?
Well, I think that Nevin's issue is a little bit of maybe overconfidence here. Nevin really feels like I feel like I nailed that conversation. And so when we get on the dance floor, I yank my hand away and go into my sexy cage go-go dancing. Hips are going, shirt is open in classic Nevin fashion, woo! And I think that it's too shocking even for the court.
Indeed. And your ruin is represented by a fair number of people hubbubbing, right? Like, what is going on? Feeling very shocked. And Lady Peril, though, is intrigued by your unconventionality, even if everyone else is a little clutching their pearls about it. Osto, how's the dance going for you?
I think Osto is a good step and a half behind everyone, as he's trying desperately to keep up with the movements, and I think that his dancing companions like maybe snicker a little bit at this, and one of them like gives him a little elbow jibe, and reminds Osto that the dance floor is no place for jokes. And that he really ought to take this seriously.
Indeed. I love it. Whoever's still dancing, let's get some dice going. You can always leave and give your weak point to another character. But otherwise, it's going to be a
Are
4 roll.
we dealing with our ruin right now? Because if so, I'm going to take my mask off.
If you take your mask off, you have to. So according to the dance roll, if you drop out for any reason, you have to hand their weak point to another player and explain how your hasty departure from the dance brings unwelcome scrutiny down another treasure hunter. Treasure hunters can generally retreat from the dance floor without consequence as long as they leave before a dance without a mask. So you can spend your mask and not take the ruin. And if you don't have a mask, you have to either get off the dance floor quickly or deal with the consequences of being on the dance floor without a mask. So
What is my ruin?
I already bumped up my ruin from 3 to 4.
your ruin's at 4.
I am going to unmask to avoid the ruin.
Indeed. So describe how the way I look at it is basically unmasking like supersedes whatever like social embarrassment was caused essentially. So what does that look like when you unmask? Because you're going to appear as you appear as Nevin.
I feel like seeing that other people are like shocked, but that there is intrigue by Lady Peril. I feel like I'm going to incorporate it into my dance, and I'm going to take it off stripper style, like I would. Sexy peel of this mask. Look, it's me. And then I'm going to toss the mask sort of at her and just be like, it is I.
Okay, then what? Do you stay on the dance floor or?
I do, with the hope that my Fey touch condition is going to save my ass.
Very good. Interesting. We'll come back to this. I think with the Fey touch condition, I'll let you do a round of dance without your mask. So we're at 4 dice for this. You're looking for 10. Go ahead and roll it, Nevin, since you've kind of done a dramatic thing in the fiction here. Combat 4. Terrible result. 4, 2, 1, and 1. Horrible result. So more hits going around, and unless masks are coming off, this is a disaster. Esfahan, how's it going?
Espen's definitely gonna mask this. Like, she's gotta. Do you want me to narrate that, or
Just narrate like what, because you're gonna have to pull your mask off. So
yeah. Okay, so she continues this battle dance with Lady Moth, but she missteps and kind of almost falls, but then she catches herself, and then she realizes that, oh God, her legs ache, and she turns and she says, thank you for your time, Lady Moth, but I find that engaging with you is rather detrimental, but you may keep this as a token of what we shared. And she pulls off her mask and gives it to Lady Moth.
indeed. Osto, how's it going for you?
Oh man, this is going to put us in an awkward fictional position, but I think Osto is also going to demask. I think Osto has like just about caught up to the rhythm, and like he's like finally feeling it, and like then we move on to the second dance and they change numbers and he's totally lost again. And he sees Esfahan sort of bail, and he sees that Nevin is like just losing articles now and just getting more into it. And I think Osto kind of like, Nevin, go. And he like gestures to where Esfahan just stepped off, and Osto like looks at his partners and is like, haha, yeah, and then like he's like, oh, what is that, a wolf? They're not allowed here. And they like turn to look, and he like just takes off his mask and leaves it there and just jets.
So who's staying on the dance floor? No one's staying on the dance floor. Good. You can definitely get off the dance floor, and as long as you immediately leave, the Rime Court nobles will not bother you. But now you have the problem of the Star Wolf Guardians, and you're not wearing masks. And it's unclear if there's anywhere else. There's no obvious place to like leave from this dance floor except to just try to find your way back to the ship. Out of character, you can get access to the Rime throne. That's the set goal, which you could spend the 3 tokens and automatically achieve that. Or you can search the area more and try to find it that way.
If we pool
I
tokens,
have
we
one
do have
home
enough.
totem to spare.
I have one as
I
well.
have a token, yeah, so we can pool them and try to find the stairs.
Yeah.
It feels like a good time.
Quick question. Did Sarah also come off the dance floor, or is Sarah still out there
Sarah's still
somewhere?
out
Someone
there.
to bellow
Yeah,
for her.
Sarah's still out there. Yeah.
Do we want to just like leave him there? You want to be like, come on, let's go.
If
Promise
Osto
you.
like sort of like steps onto the dance floor and like does a quick look around, does he see Sarah at all?
No, you know where Sarah is. Yeah, unless
Oh.
you go back on the dance floor, you cannot find Sarah.
Oh, geez.
It was nice knowing him.
So do we want to pull these tokens, I guess?
I'll
Yeah.
leave him a note. And Osto is gonna scrawl out a quick message just on the ground. That directs Sarah to just call really loudly for them whenever he sees it.
Are you spending these tokens?
Let's do it.
Yeah, we're doing that. Gotta speed run this now.
So I mentioned there were all those topiaries, right? And one of the topiaries is actually of a king with its arms outstretched. And it's the only one that's by itself as opposed to the others, which are like romantic embraced couples. Much of the king's lower body is overgrown with glassy thorns. But you will notice that the large sort of like planter that it's sitting in, there is a gap between the floor and the planter. It can be pushed aside, and that is an exit out of here, or at least goes somewhere deeper into the castle. Do you all go?
I feel like I just like bolt down there, not even like pausing.
Yeah.
I don't even look. Yeah.
You can all just sort of shove it aside, and you'll see there's a spiraling staircase beneath the planter that goes down. And I think as long as you just directly get to it, the Star Wolves won't bother you. It's if you delay any at all.
We're just gonna.
Osto will definitely hustle. Like,
Yeah.
no delays here.
Indeed. And so you go down the stairs into, well, the spiral staircase brings you down to the lowest tip of the Hanging Palace, a shimmering cold room of ice and crystal, dominated by a massive throne. Around the throne is a ring of a half-dozen still sentries, imposing and silent. The sentries are hulking figures fully covered in icy armor, and their helmets are crowned with icy antlers, and they wield a variety of obsidian weapons, bows, spears, axes, clubs, that sort of thing. And again, there's this massive throne carved into a quartz pillar, covered in hoarfrost. The Sekol: shatter the Rime Palace by breaking the throne. if you wish. But you're down in this space. There is quiet and stillness here. The sentries, which stand in a semicircle in front of the throne, make no particular movements or even seem to acknowledge your presence as you come from the stair landing into the throne room. Osto, what do you do?
I think Osto, like arriving at the bottom of the stairs, stops for a little while and just like waits to see if the guardians move. And after being, seeing no movement from them, I think he kind of remembers his vision of Hisham's fountain, and like of the statues there, and like how they mostly were stationary but sort of looked and observed. And I think he's like, this feels reminiscent of that to him. And so I think like almost like compelled, sort of leaning into the my destiny condition here. I think he like starts walking towards one of the guardians to like sort of lay his hand on it.
Very bold move. Esfahan, what are you doing?
Esfahan is going to actually touch a wall and see if it's as freezing cold as it looks like it should be. She's kind of fascinated by this.
Make a hunt roll.
That's just one, right?
Yeah, unless you have like some skill that would be particularly relevant.
I've got symbols if there are some carved in these walls, but otherwise, no.
No, there's not. You encounter something terrible. The terrible thing you encounter is that it's not as smooth as it seems. In fact, you see cracks running all along walls, fine cracks. Structurally, the place is not good. Nevin, what are you doing?
Nevin is very aware that the whole point of going on these things ultimately is to get treasure. And Nevin didn't do a very good job of that last time or this time. So I am looking for things I can take, basically. I would like to loot the room, please.
Yes, indeed. Well, let's talk about it. You might notice at this point, Nevin, especially if you fall in behind Osto a little bit, there is a skeleton on the throne, a crowned human skeleton. It has delicate silver chains winding around its bones that seem to trap it in the seat. And it's wearing a crown of glass thorns, an iridescent and enchanting garland bound with silver and sapphires. Looks incredibly valuable.
Are the chains just around the skeleton, or do they like attach to the,
They attach to the
chair
throne
in
as
some way?
well.
Okay.
Yeah. They're like the skeleton's bound there.
I'm going to march right up to the sentries then, but I'm not going to touch them. I'm just going to march right up to them, imposingly with my horns in their direction.
There are 6 sentries in total. Osto, as you approach, 3 of them form into a defensive formation, one with a sword, one with a spear, and one with a bow and arrow, and they go to meet you. This is a combat. In their defensive formation, they're an endurance 11. Esfahan, you can see straight away, this is not like approaching the sentries was as gotten their attention. The other 3 don't move at all. It's just 3 of them. break ranks to basically challenge Osto and Nevin. Esfahan, do you get involved or do you hang back? What do you do?
She's actually going to try to, as Osto and Nevin are distracting this issue, she's going to try to go around to where the throne is. And she's either going to try to get the crown after that, or she's going to try to get the sentries to attack the throne because she thinks they won't want to do that.
Oh, interesting. That feels like a risk roll, which we'll get to in a bit. Osto and Nevin, you got 3 of these soldiers. They're just ready to go. They step forward, they lunge forward with their weapons. How are you vulnerable, Osto?
Osto's vulnerable because he wasn't expecting a fight. Like he came forward feeling this sort of religious compulsion, and was met with something he didn't expect. So I think that's how he's vulnerable. Oh, that's a bad weak point.
Oh yeah, 5, not great. How are you vulnerable, Nevin?
I think I'm vulnerable because I can see Esfahan like sneaking around. So I'm a little bit distracted because I want to make sure that we're like keeping the attention, but it makes me not fully engaged in the fight.
Go for it. So 1. So 5 and 1 are our bad numbers. Let's have a combat 2. I'll still go for it.
Combat 2, you said?
Yes.
All right, let's go.
That is a 6 and a 3 is a 9. That's not enough. Please go ahead and describe the first bit of the combat.
I think Osto is purely defensive. He's not trying to injure or destroy these things. He's like almost trying to study them, how they work, how they move, how their armor is joined together. And so as you know, they attempt to slash and stab him from varying angles and with different weapons. I think he just kind of keeps a little bit of a distance, stays just out of reach, and almost like with hands out is like, whoa, like we don't need to do this. And that's what he does.
Nevin, keep going.
Yeah, I think I'll actually do something similar, almost in a sort of like back-to-back situation. I feel like the 2 of us, and I've got my big horns, and I feel like I'm also using those to like keep the distance, maybe like poking at them a little bit, like just to see like, are they solid or whatever, but also not really engaging. Very exciting combat.
Indeed. We'll come back to the next combat round in a bit. Esfahan, you said you're trying to sneak around, essentially while one side is occupied. You're trying to sneak past and get to the throne skeleton and take the crown.
Mhm.
Very good. It's a risk roll, which is very dangerous for you. There are no dark dice automatically yet. As long as you stay in the realm of light dice, you should be okay. But what could go wrong here, Alicia and David?
I think that she could attract the attention of the 3 sentries who haven't moved.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the most logical.
Okay, let's talk about dice. Do you have a relevant skill here, Esfahan?
So I have Grace,
I'll take it.
which I think, yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it. And Devil's Bargains. My Devil's Bargain is this. The chains binding the skeleton will try to bind you.
My Devil's Bargain is that the skeleton asks you for help.
Jason already went with the one that I was thinking of, but I have another. My Devil's Bargain is at the moment you touch the crown, you're going to feel very compelled to put it on and have a seat there.
Yeah, those are all great, terrible bargains. Do you accept any of them, Esfahan?
Cinematically, they are perfect. I'm trying to figure out which is, because I find them equal cinematically, I'm trying to figure out which one will lead to the least likely death.
feel like
Which,
they're all good candidates.
mm, I think I'm gonna go with the skeleton speaks to me and asks me for help.
You have 2 light dice. Go for it. Risk 2. 2 light.
Mhm.
A 4. You have a success, but a complication. The complication is going to be. The complication is going to be that the help it asks for is for you to take its place. If you're okay with that, let it ride. Otherwise, you can have dark die. It's risky, but
I think I'd rather deal with the skeleton.
fair enough. Describe how you successfully get to the throne.
So for the sake of flavor, not for the sake of using the items, she has bandages and she's kind of wrapped them around her shoes to silence them a little. And she's slowly, as Osto and Nevin are being loud and aggressive, is using that to sneak around the side that they're fighting on, being very careful to not get hit by the backs of any spear or tall sentry. And she's kind of shimmies along the wall, gets there.
Yeah, good. Osto and Nevin, a crossbow bolt flies over your head and smashes into one of the sentries, and sprays of ice go everywhere. And it sort of like, kind of disrupts them a little bit. Editha is standing in the stairway, leaning up against the doorway, having shot the crossbow. And she says, well, I got tired of waiting for you to come back and get me. And this reduces their endurance to 10. And it's a combat 3 now. Nevin, take it away. You're looking for 10 now instead of 11. But that'll do it. 6, 6, and 1. And that's no one's weak point either. So fantastic. You will defeat these things. Let's get the combat going here. What does it look like, Nevin?
Wait,
Start it off.
wasn't one Nevin's weak point?
Yeah, Nevin, that's my
Oh,
weak
yeah,
point.
you got
One
a
is
1.
my weak
Sorry.
point.
Still though, you win. Go ahead and describe it, Nevin, how you are getting the advantage here.
I think that the plan is just to play on this. As soon as it's clear that I think that Esfahan is like there at the thing, I'm gonna just be like, charge, and like start ramming with those horns are coming in like excellent. Just start ramming with horns, skewering things.
Yeah, smashing up their ice armor. I love it. Osto, keep it going. Well, actually, finish them off.
Yeah, I think Osto makes his priority like stealing from them. Basically, instead of like grabbing out his cudgel and swinging, I think like the spearman stabs forward and he like steps to the side and then he grabs the spear and he yanks it from their grasp and like hits them with the pommel of it, and then knocks them over. And he just like pulls off their gauntlets, hits them in the head several times over and over with the pommel of the spear, but like tries to go for the face of the thing and like not damage the armor. I think he's like here to steal this armor. He's like, he needs it for notes.
Indeed. I owe you a gold roll on these, and we'll get to them in a minute. But Editha says, look alive, and you'll notice that one of the other sentries has gone for a horn. And they're raising the horn up to their mouths, and they're getting ready to blow that horn. Meanwhile, Esfahan, the skeleton, speaks. It doesn't move, but you do hear its voice. It says, you must sit the Rime throne, or all will be lost. And you can see cracks. Those cracks are getting bigger in the walls.
How very ominous. I'll take your crown, but not your place. Find another.
You take the crown. The cracks become a rumble. The place is breaking up and fast. You have the crown. You can add it to your found equipment. But the skeleton says, "It is not too late. Where the crown sit the rhyme throne, or we shall all be plunged into oblivion."
And so these Frost Sentry corpses, are they nearby?
They are fairly close by. I mean, they came forward a little bit to attack Nevin and Osto, but they're not like, you can still run up to them, I suppose. Would you have in mind?
I wanted to drag one onto this throne and then put the crown on it and see if that helped.
I will tell you that it will not help because it's dead. Osto, one of the sentries, is getting ready to blow the horn, but I don't think it even matters anymore because the room is breaking up. You can see icy masonry crumbling and collapsing and falling. Aditha says, "Oh, great. See a crown and grab it, because that's always the safe option, to grab the clearly cursed valuable item." So what are we going to do, folks? I have a bit of a running problem, as in I can't do it.
I think Osto finishes looting these bodies.
Let's take.
We'll probably need to do that gold.
It's gold 10 actually.
That's unfortunate.
It's 1. You can have it be the ice armor if you want the ice armor.
I would like the armor.
So my instinct would be, as everything is crumbling, would be to start doing my door ritual, because otherwise I think we fucked.
Probably, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, you can take the door ritual, and I guess you're gonna try to get back to the ship. Is that the idea?
Yeah, before it
Yeah.
all crumbles apart.
Yeah, good.
Oh wait, isn't the ship stuck though?
Yeah, the ship is stuck in
One of the wings is...
And the thing is the whole thing is crumbling.
It's a bad situation.
I'm not gonna try to get us to the ship. I'm gonna try to get us home.
That's
I want a portal home.
No, Osto will grab your shoulders. You're like, no, we need to go home, and he's like, but the globes are still on the ship.
That's true.
How much is the? Oh, hold on. Before we do this, how much is that crown worth? Do we need the globes? Because I think you need the globes to meet your burdens, right, David?
Let's see.
It depends on how much the bottled starlight was worth. We never assigned a value to that.
The crown is worth 3.
Would that be enough for at least?
It's also a magic item though. So
yeah. No, we need that money. We'll fix the ship. We'll fix the ship.
Okay.
Oh my God.
All right. So I will listen to my smarter, 1 minute older twin brother. And I'm painting the door, and it's I imagine that everything's crumbling. Cinematically, I feel I've drawn the door or whatever in my special chalk. I've drawn the handle, and I like the idea that as I open it, everything around the door has already kind of disappeared away.
yeah, I love it. Let's do a risk roll. What could go wrong?
So the thing said that if the palace broke down, we would be plunged into oblivion. I think the palace has broken down in this area, and the portal just leads to oblivion.
Yeah, that would be a really bad outcome. I had a similar thought though. Yeah, you just step out into the gossamer void. And you're just floating. Any other thoughts? Anything different, maybe, David?
We door onto the ship, but everything is in free fall, which includes the wing that we still need to reattach. And so, yeah.
I like
Okay, let's talk dice. Nevin. Not really sure what
Last time we pitched trails for this and you took it because I know where generally the ship is. So
I'll
like
take
in my
I'll take
mind.
it. Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah. You had a session of like just wandering the halls. So all right, you got one light die. And Devil's Bargain. My bargain is no matter what the giant blue moth that you managed to not encounter before, or at least that I suggested might be around somewhere, there's a giant blue moth waiting for you at the ship.
My devil's bargain is that we're back to the ship, but it's still caught in the sticky gossamer sheets, and that's going to make it really hard for us to leave as the rubble starts falling.
Well, it's just the wing that's caught, right?
Oh, I guess that's true.
Yeah, the ship is landed.
The ship landed. Yeah, we lost the wing.
Yeah.
So, then the part of the palace that had the other wing has already fallen. I'll say.
Oh, so you're missing
bargain.
a wing.
We're missing a wing.
All right.
I'm gonna say that no matter what, because you're still fate touched. When we get there, there will be either Fey nobles or the Star Wolves just waiting.
These are all terrible.
They're terrible offers. Yeah. You can always just do 1 and 1.
Yeah. Yeah, but also I feel like I don't want us to fight anything, but I feel like I need another die. And so I'm going to take the other wing is lost because I feel like we still might be able to overcome that somehow. Maybe.
All right. You've got risk 2 light and 1 dark. Let's see how it goes. That is a 5 complication success. The complication is going to be oh, the complication is going to be Sarah is there and betrays you all. If you're okay with that betrayal from Sarah, you can certainly let it ride. Otherwise, you can add a dark die and try again.
I don't know. What does everybody think?
I think I'm gonna slit his old throat.
We have already we already have a difficult situation ahead of us. I don't know if we want to deal with the betrayal too.
I'm concerned that if I roll worse though, and then we don't make it at all. I'm torn because we made it. So
true.
I'm gonna keep it.
All right.
And we'll deal with the betrayal. And we can roll more dice if we need to later.
Indeed. All right, let's have the description. So you all escape and you get to that sort of like covered landing area where the ship and the glowing globes have been stored. Let's just have that bit of the scene as everyone's escaping the crumbling throne room. Go ahead. What does it look like, Alicia?
Yeah, so I think, like I said, like I like the idea that like it takes long enough for all of the stuff to happen that actually most of the room has like already started to crumble, the throne room. And so all that's left are maybe the tiles that we're standing on. We kind of have to hop from bit to bit and like opening the door, and we step through like just as the door sort of crumbles. Also, I don't know how anybody else feels about this, but I feel like we didn't save Aditha in the process. I don't think anyone tried to help her.
Aditha was so far.
Just left Aditha.
I mean, Aditha kind of saved our skin against those guardians. Osto would at least make an effort to save Aditha.
Okay.
You can grab Aditha, it's fine. You step out of the portal. The crumbling has not reached you yet. at least not where the ship is immediately parked. Unfortunately, you don't see the lace curtain and the wing anymore. So who knows where that went? But you can hear the castle, kind of the deeper part of the castle breaking apart, right? But you're kind of safe from that as far as that goes. As you approach the ship, you see Syrah and a Rime Court noble come around the corner. And Syrah says, "Oh, hello. Did you have an opportunity to meet Sir Quest?" And he points over at the Rime Court noble, who's presumably called Sir Quest. Sir Quest is dressed as the others, sort of birch armor, the pale skin, the antlers, all the jewels. And he's also got, hanging from his antler horns, essentially bones and things, like finger bones and hand bones. And Syrah says, "I managed to cut a deal with Sir Quest while we were enjoying each other's company on the dance floor. I explained to him that the three of you had acquired a fair number of valuable treasures, and that furthermore, you might all make good eating. This is a thing the Fae are going through right now, should they eat people or not. I have been promised free passage out of here and a healthy share of whatever we plunder from your bodies. Now, I think the easy thing to do would for you all to just lay down your arms and let's all agree that I've gotten the better of you and that you're never going to leave this place alive, and carry on. But I have a feeling you're not going to go with that offer."
I'm going to step forward and I'm going to say, I think that you need to summon Lady Peril.
Syrah looks at Sir Quest and says, "Well, I don't know if that is, if I don't really understand. I don't know if there's a protocol that we have to engage with here." And Sir Quest just pushes Syrah aside by the face. And he says, "Very well. You have named Lady Peril your champion?"
Yes.
And Lady Peril is there. And she says, my. I did not think it was going to come to this. I never would have thought I'd be fighting for a mortal. But you have very interesting ideas, Elder of the Horns, and that makes you fascinating to me. And in any case, Sir Quest is, well, let's just say, our respective courts have a great deal of informal animosity towards one another. And I think these two Rime Court nobles are about to duel. What are the rest of you doing while that's about to happen?
Osto wants to spin around because he has Aditha strapped to his back again. And they had a rule earlier that she's on his back and watching their backs. If he turns with her, then she needs to crossbow them, and he's going to turn her to try to crossbow Syrah.
Very nice. That'll work. Syrah takes a crossbow to the gullet and collapses up against the ship. He says, "Well, It's not like you're going to make it out of here alive anyway.
I think Osto gestures to the the noble he brought with him and to Syrah and says, "He'll be most flavorful fresh."
Are the three of you going to attempt to get on the ship and get out of there, Esfahen?
Yes, Esfahen wants to figure out how to substitute for this lack of a wing.
Yeah, what's the plan there?
Well, discussion with the table, but Osto's plan is to display his holy symbol. He felt compelled to be here, so he's going to ask whoever his god is for help in departing.
Interesting.
I think that's smart. If all else fails, Nevin volunteers to be naked again. But in all seriousness, I thought we could maybe construct a wing out of like clothing and fabric and stuff that we're wearing.
Or the
Yeah, that
the
was
elder
my
stag
direction
horns.
too. I think I prefer the holy sigil though.
I mean, you're just gonna just pray, Osto, and see if that
I mean,
works.
we're in the sort of liminal dimension right now.
You are indeed. Yes, you are indeed.
And we've got the magical crown with us. We've got like all this magical stuff that we've gathered. I think he's gonna go over to the orbs, which are sitting here on the ship, and he's gonna like place one hand on them, place one hand on his holy symbol. He's gonna like raise it up to the sky, and he's going to call upon his god and request assistance.
Okay. Let's see if that is a thing that works. Okay. What could go wrong? I'll give you the roll. What could go wrong, Alicia, Kavya?
I think that whichever noble wins is going to keep us here.
Yeah, I think that's kind of it. Like, you're all just arrested. You are made prisoners of Rime Court nobles or worse.
I had a different direction. I was thinking that Osto's god answers, but because Osto is touching these orbs that belong here and we have all this fey magical things, this god is going to think that the assistance here is getting us into Rime Palace, not out of Rime Palace.
It's just total wires crossed. Let's have dice. Osto, I don't think you have a skill that's relevant, but you have plenty of items though. So using, as you've described it, you've got one light die for the just various pieces of magical equipment. Devil's bargains.
I think that your god is going to ask you to give up that which is most precious to you.
I cannot top that, but I'm going to say that no matter what, you lose half of those orbs at least.
I'm going to say no matter what, as a payment or penance or whatever, I think you don't get to sell the elder stag horns. You have to take the elder stag horns and put them in a place of reverence.
Those are my elder stag horns. I carried them all through this goddamn dungeon.
Expanding on yours, Alicia, with the giving up what's most precious, is that an immediately thing or is that a eventually thing?
I think I could go either way. I kind of like eventually for like a long-term story
I
thing.
mean, what is it?
Well, I wanted to leave it open to discussion or interpretation in that regard. Yeah.
Because like if it's in the moment, then like the most valuable thing, like the most precious thing to Osto is probably Nevin.
Right.
Which causes some problems if it's an immediate term thing.
It could be an eventual thing.
But I do really like that that there's just a cost with the deity. So yeah,
like
we'll take that
it
bargain.
extracts the price of like you basically having a fallout with Nevin, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Interesting. We have to say that in the chat. Caveat, but still holds Nevin up like Simba for his deity. Sylvania. Let's get some dice. I think a dark die is automatic here. Go for it.
All right, so 2 light, 1 dark.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's good.
6 light. That's what you want. I'm going to tell you that the way this looks is the spectral bull actually pulls the ship out of the docking area and it's floating in the void. So, yeah. But go ahead and describe the scene.
Yeah, I think Osto like raises high his holy symbol, and the horns in his head, like that he still has even after taking off the mask, that seem to persist. They actually like they grow larger and larger, and then like out of him, like pulling off of his body, comes this massive spectral bull filled with stars, very similar to the wolves that we saw earlier, and like from the ship, like little bits of bone flake off into reins that wrap around and yoke the bull, and it just like tows us through the space, through the void, and pulls us away from the Rime Palace as it begins to chunk by chunk drop into the abyss.
I love it. That's a good ending. We have time for Hearthfire. Let me tell you what that crown does, Esfahan. Wearing the crown gives you access to the ritual Forget. The ritual allows you to remove a harmful memory. And it actually, it has other mechanical implications as well related to memory and memory loss. And it is an item of significance in the setting. But of course, you could just sell it for 3 gold. If you keep it, at the end of Hearthfire, your burdens go up by 1. So that's the other issue about keeping it. But it is it's an important item. And so we'll take a 10-minute break so you all have time to read through the Hearthfire options and see how you want to spend your money. Make sure you have enough money to meet your burdens and where it's going to come from. And then we'll come back and do it. So let's take 10.
If Esfahan has the crown, someone needs to give me something because I don't currently have enough money.
I was going to ask about that. Because without the crown, I have enough. I have just enough.
Yeah.
I was going to ask about your burdens there.
Yeah. I am not currently meeting my burdens, which is why I wanted to take the crown.
How much was the bottled Starlight worth?
2.
2? Okay.
Yeah.
I do have a little bit of excess. I might have enough to cover.
I'm only down 1 because my Elder Horns are worth 3. So I just.
I can definitely spot you 1 for sure.
And if you have any leftover hunt tokens, you can just convert them to cash too. So 1 gold each. Okay, let's take 10. Hearthfire. You are back to Fort Durin or thereabouts. After you navigate Ardkin back to your world and eventually make your way from the frozen mountaintops of the Teetering Graveyard. The first step in Hearthfire is to meet your burdens. And so once you have met your burdens in either gold or treasure equal to the amount, you get to unmark all of your armor, and your character gets to fight another day. And then if you have a home or a household, you also get to lower your ruin by 1, as well as clear any conditions you wish straight away. Otherwise, you have to lower your ruin with the healing section. And if you manage to have any money left over, it can go in hoard. There's also other things you can do in Hearthfire if you're willing to take on burdens. So let's just go around the table and confirm that everyone is meeting their burdens at this point.
I currently do not meet my burdens.
Osto, are you able to meet your burdens?
Yes, I can also give you my collection of teeth, Nevin, so that you may sell it for an additional gold piece.
All right. Well, with that, I meet my burdens.
Very good. And Esfahan, are you able to meet your burdens? You're muted, Kavya.
After selling many things, I do manage to meet my burdens.
Very good. Okay, great. Are you going to keep the crown, Esfahan? Are you selling that?
Yes.
Okay. If you keep it, your burdens go up by 1.
Yes, I do.
But
Fix that.
you have a powerful magical item, which does more than just, it gives you that access to that ritual, but has other implications too that you'll discover in play. Let's go ahead and see what else everyone is doing in Hearthfire. So Osto, you've met your burdens. That's great. If you have any extra money left over, you can spend it to reduce ruin, or you can do the free healing options to reduce 1 ruin. You also have a household, which can reduce ruin. So how's all that going? What do you want to do with Hearthfire?
So, sorry. Just an alarm. I think first I do return to my household, so that will leave me of 1 of my ruin. What are my free options to get rid of the other one I have? I can spend a gold. I'm trying. So I currently have 1 gold left over, and that is in the form of the ice armor set.
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested.
Yeah.
I was kind of interested in acquiring it as armor, as a permanent piece of armor. Is that is there anything that goes with doing that?
You can do that. I mean, it increases your burdens. That's it. So, like any other piece of armor would.
I'll definitely add that. So that means I don't have anything extra for money.
You can do a free healing option. You have 3 free healing options if you want to just get your healing, your ruin down back to its starting value.
Yeah, I will. Where are those here in Hearthfire? There it is. So just narrate.
Yeah, you just pick one and then do what it says.
Yeah. I think I'll do the last one. So narrate a scene showing a truly beautiful place in or near town. I think Osto, he has done a lot of work in mines. He's done a lot of work in forges, and now he's been on this quest on behalf of this god. And I think he still, though, has this like deep tie to the earth and what's inside of it. I think outside of the town they're staying in, where his very mobile home currently is. I think that there's like an abandoned mine, like that it worked. You know, they found veins for some time, but then, you know, they were mining silver and they stopped finding it, and so they abandoned it. And I think he goes there and he follows the shafts down, and he enters a cavern that is. There are, you know, bits of stone dripping from the ceiling, water dripping off of them into a pool. And he has a lantern with him that he sets down. And it's dark, save for the lamplight, but it's very tranquil. And the water drips at a slow, steady pace. And I think he just spends, you know, a few hours there, just kind of relaxing, breathing, just observing the space and taking a moment away after all of the frantic action of the Rime Palace.
So that puts you back to your starting value.
Yes, that puts me back to 2.
All right. Is there anything else you want to do in Hearthfire?
Well, if I had an extra gold, I have a few ideas, but I'll just have to
Okay.
make more money next time.
Sounds good. Okay, let's go over to Esfahen. Esfahen, your former burdens were 5. I assume you met those. And what would you have a lot of ruin right now. You get to lower 1 with your household. And you could get rid of limp as well.
Yeah.
What else would you like to do?
Before we get to ruin, so I know that we unmark armor when we meet our burdens. Do I also unmark my knives?
The weapons don't ever. Oh yeah. You yeah. That's a new rule. Yeah. The ranged weapons also get unmarked. Yeah.
Perfect. And I'm gonna do one of the narration scenes to heal.
Go for it.
But also the memento for the household, I'm gonna say is that she just finds a little piece of the Rime Palace wall in her hood.
Oh, nice. Good. Yeah.
Mhm.
You get a memento for your household as well, Asta.
And for the, oh god, where is it? Okay, healing. I think I'm gonna go for a truly beautiful place too. And so Esfahan wasn't much of a forest person before. She never really saw the appeal. Trees are nice, whatever. And but spending more time with Nevin, she has come to appreciate it in some sort of way. So sometimes she does find herself venturing into the forests outside of town. And one such day, we see her just cloak on, shoes on, strolling. And the forest path is fairly standard as far as forest paths go. There are trees lining it. There are some normal bushes. There are some berry bushes. You can see a few animals going about. But as she gets deeper and deeper, she eventually finds this lake. And it is gorgeous. The water is this clear, shimmering blue, as if it had some kind of glitter in it, but it's just water. You can this is very far into the woods, so a lot of hunters don't get here. So you can see that the animals here are more open to human interaction. So even as Esfahan approaches the lake, none of the animals that are drinking run away. And she sits there with her feet in the water for a while, and she just lies back and she just looks at the sky. It's a moment of peace.
Fantastic. Thank you. And anything else you want to do for Hearthfire? Okay.
I've got nothing left.
And Nevin, you can meet your burdens, and you still
I'm
have
just
1
gonna
ruin.
do healing
Yeah, go for it.
because that's all I have left. I can't do anything else. So I'm gonna do narrate a scene showing how you satisfy your physical desires when in town, and feeling relevance to the dancing theme. I think that this sort of camera pans across a dark room. There's these strange lights. I don't know, they're probably magical in some way, giving you big like laser lights happening. And there's the music comes up slowly, and there's a distinct thumpa thumpa kind of like building up in there. And it's Osto at his little gay club, just like dancing the night away. And he's sweaty, and there's bodies everywhere. And he's just having the time of his life.
Fantastic. What are you all going to do with Ardkin?
Perhaps Nevin would like to make it his household.
I mean, how are you going to get it? I mean, I guess it's a flying ship. I suppose you can, well, it doesn't really fly though. It sort of just like goes to and from the void, the Gossamer Void, right? It's
Could
still up
we
there.
could we bury it back under the pile of bones it was under? So like if we ever need it again, we can just go find its pile of bones.
Yeah, I think you could probably do that. Yeah.
I don't know,
Is-
just offering ideas.
Can we count it as treasure and sell it so that I can actually not be behind
I was wondering
by
if
two
you
whole
were if you were
things?
going to try
Yeah.
to sell it. Yeah. Because you were not the first group coming to look for it, right? Like Editha's group came to look for it, and you presumably heard rumors about it, which is what led you there. I think you could probably sell it. It's obviously it's truly a priceless magical artifact, but if you were gonna sell it, you could probably get like, I would say probably like 10 gold for it. Somewhere thereabouts, yeah. We could make it, actually let's make it easy since there's 3 of you, say 12. So you could take 4 each if you want to sell it.
I am inclined to do that only because I keep somehow getting screwed and not ever meeting my burdens, and would like to have a little hoard going so that in the future I'm not fucked. Because we can use our hoard in the future, right? To meet our burdens.
No, once it goes to the
No?
hoard, it's untouchable.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
That's the thing. If you sell it, the money's all going straight to your hoard. So, yeah.
I am, as a person, as a player, I'm inclined towards the money. Esfahan definitely believes they're going back for that astrolabe at some point. So she thinks they still have a method of transport, like to and from wherever. So she's not too worried about that aspect.
If we do decide to sell it, can I at least buy a house before I put the rest directly into my hoard?
Well, the house doesn't, that just increases your burdens. It doesn't cost any gold at all.
Oh, I thought you did have to. Oh, right. That's why I didn't, because it increased my burdens.
Yeah.
I'm torn.
So what's the benefit of the hoard then? We just have
That's
some
just your that's just your
narration.
like character progression, basically.
Yeah.
Like you're just trying to fill that meter up. That's how you meet your drive. There's also like little narrative bits over time that you get to do, but it's mostly just like, it's just your character progress. It just shows how you're doing. It otherwise has no.
Oh, if it's towards meeting the drive, then I would love to sell it and start building up that.
Yeah, it's all, that's the only way to meet your drive is to fill up those boxes. So
Oh well, bing bing bing. I'm happy selling the ship.
All right, then we sell the ship.
for those of you who are putting things in your hoard for the first time, where do you keep your money so that no one can find it?
My hoard is left with the caretaker of goat because I don't bring goat with me. I feel like it's almost like a little pile dedicated to goat.
I think there's a dynamite box down in the mine that Osto keeps his hoard in.
Very good. Additionally, those of you who are putting money in your hoard for the first time, you have to narrate a flashback to when your drive became important to you.
I think that my flashback is to the first time that I met the Piper, the kindly Piper. I was previously an oppressed laborer, and I think that I was sort of rescued by the kindly Piper. However, the meeting of the kindly Piper takes place in like a large palace. It's a beautiful thing. The Piper seems to live there, and I become immediately suspicious about that situation, and am now dedicated to sort of taking down the Piper because I don't think that they are who they say they are.
Those two.
For Osto, it's the moment when he's called on his religious quest. I think he's been like an apprentice blacksmith for some time now, but still to make ends meet, to meet his burdens of the time, he spends some time down in the mines, and he's chipping away with a pickaxe at this wall, and as he like takes out a big chunk of it, I think embedded deep in this earth and this mine and the rock, almost like a fossil, there is this circular amulet that is this holy symbol, and he wasn't expecting that to come out, and so he reaches out and he touches it, and the moment he does, his head is filled with these fantastic visions of many things, but most notably this like completed, glorious, fountain of waters and statues, and like he feels deep in his mind that this is his purpose. And as he like takes it and he sort of comes out of this vision, he just like clutches it close to his chest, I think for the first time in his life really feeling empowered to do something, and he like immediately just drops his pickaxe and leaves.
Nice, thank you. Esfahan, got 4 gold to stash.
Well, actually, first off, I wanted to ask if I could clear that equipment slot in my backpack, because I have a crowbar in there that's been.
Absolutely, yeah. You just move the crowbar down, or if it's just cleared. You still
Pretty
have.
sure I threw it at a snake, so I don't think
right,
I.
Yeah. Okay, so you can just open up the slot with a gold. That's fine.
Mhm.
And then when you do that for equipment, the first time you do it, you get to name a shopkeeper in town and a secret. You don't have to think of that yet, but you're entitled to do it at some point, to think of the side shopkeeper drama that's going on. It's essentially becomes a little side quest once that box fills up. And if you're going to stash any other gold, because I think you still have 3 left, you have to pick an option from your hoard list and do it.
I'm gonna stash all 3 gold. And I think I'm going to narrate a flashback showing a personal triumph related to my background. Because we haven't really seen Esfahan's background. So we cut to some very large room. The floor is marble, the pillars are marble, everything is impeccably clean. It's rather reminiscent of the Rime Court if the Rime Court were non-magical. And we see Esfahan is there. There's a troupe of dancers actually performing for these nobles here. And Esfahan has taken front and center. But as she is dancing, we kind of zoom in a little bit, and we see that she has some flecks of blood on her skirts and sleeves. And if I may do another flashback within a flashback, we see, we zoom into the blood, zoom out again, and we see that Esfahan is leaning over a dead body, her dagger, one of her daggers, buried in its throat. The person appears to be wearing a similar outfit to what she was wearing as dancing. And it's very, very clear that Esfahan killed this person so she could take their place as lead dancer for this performance.
Very good, very good. You all were being so judgy about Aditha killing her husband. That concludes Hearthfire.
Did we get Aditha settled?
Aditha. I changed my mind. Can I do household as well? I feel
Sure,
like I'm going to need it in order to help those ruin in the future. So
yeah, increase your burdens by 1. And what kind of structure or environment is your household?
I think that it's barely a house. We've upgraded from the tent to I've spent some time now where my tent was building like a tiny barely a cabin, like a large hut situation. I'm very aware of not taking up too much space on this land, you know. And so but it's well built. Obviously, as a lumberjack, I feel like it's well crafted, but it's small and it's cozy and it's got that classic cabin-ness kind of to it.
Fabulous. Everyone gets to contribute a memento, a little housewarming gift to your hut, your cabin, based off your previous adventures. And it doesn't have to be something we saw. It can be something kind of we're learning about now for the first time. But I'm going to say that you I'm going to say that you have one of the shed Starlight Serpent skins hanging on a wall. It's not particularly valuable because it's just like shedded, but you know, it's a cool story.
I'm going to say that Esfahan has taken another piece of the Rime Palace and she's fashioned it into a necklace that you can just wear. It's leather cord and
you're not really sure when he grabbed it in everything, but I think Osto gives you the skeleton of whoever was sitting on the throne.
Just the whole
in the Rhine Palace.
skeleton.
Just the whole skeleton. It's a memento.
We don't even know who this
Decor.
guy is.
No idea.
That's definitely not going to come back to bite me in the ass. Definitely not going to murder me in my sleep.
That's why we write it down so that I remember.
I mean, we have the crown, we have the skeleton. If someone can just source some chains.
Fabulous. I love it. Okay. Well, with all that said, you can now clear your conditions, Nevin. If you want to unmark that healing thing, you can, because you would have gotten a free heal from doing a household. So let's do Stars and Wishes. We got 10 minutes left. Stars and Wishes for the whole 3 series Rime Palace adventure, and wishes for next time. I intend to meet again and do another incursion next week if everybody's cool with that. And so maybe just things you'd like to see with your character next time, or stories, aspects of the story you'd like to explore. But I'll start today. I really I had a good time with Rime Palace. I would have liked for the, like, it's kind of a wish, kind of like I would have liked for the dance scene to go longer, but I know why you all bailed, because you were all like really, really hurt. So so I get it. The dice were very, very unkind to you today. So that was not helpful as far as that goes. But nevertheless, it was very fun, and it was a good it was an interesting scene. I'm enjoying the continuing development of these characters and kind of how they deal with problems and who they are and what their deal is, and I feel like we learn a little bit more about them each time, which I think is really enjoyable. I thought the escape at the end was really cool. Using the dimension door to sort of escape out of there was pretty fun. The whole series was really fun. It's a very like high fantasy kind of like high adventure incursion, which is enjoyable. And this series, between this one and Temple of the Imperial Star, has been a lot more like kind of like swords and sorcery, like kind of high adventure fantasy, which is really interesting to me. And so it's kind of had that feel and flavor, which I've enjoyed quite a bit. So those are my stars.
I also want to put a star out there for just the NPCs on the dance floor. The different Fae court members were like very, like, we didn't spend very much time with them, but you instantly got a sense of who each of these characters were, which I thought was really, really wonderful. And just, yeah, I know we had to bail. I thought the whole scene there was very cool, though. I loved that location. It's a shame we just dropped it to the bottom of the void, but
Yeah, I too wish that we would have had more dancing. but I enjoyed like what happened. I really liked Lady Peril, I have to say, like star for that. I thought that was going to go so much worse, especially at the end when I was like, I don't know, summon her. Let's see what happens. So I really liked Lady Peril. I wanted to take her feathers, but that didn't really work out. So my wish is I got Lady Peril's feathers.
Oh, I actually really like that. I think I would change my memento to be like a feather from Lady Peril. Or you could just add that as another memento. I think that'd be fun.
Stars from my end for how we bailed out of that dance scene, because it was great. It was great. As Esfahan, it's horrible, but definite star for Sarah betraying us. I only wish that Esfahan could have been the one to just stab him. She was kind of on edge the entire time once Lady Moth just slammed her. Star for star/wish combination for that skeleton and this crown coming to bite us back, coming back to bite us in the ass collectively.
Something is definitely going to happen there. I mean, I know what it is. Unless, I mean, you all could too if you just go read it, I suppose. But like without short of just going to read it, I know what the implications of it are, and it's very fascinating. So yeah.
It's gonna be a surprise. Wish. I want to show more of Esfahan's ruthless side, so I'm definitely going to work on that. Because we've seen the soft dancer side of Esfahan so far. We just gotta.
I think we saw some good hints though of Esfahan's like ruthlessness today. So and I
definitely in flashback.
Yeah, 100%. I also forgot about my combined also star wish, which is what the heck is going to happen now with Nevin and Osto with the like you have to give up.
Yeah, we can't forget that.
Precious to you.
Yeah, that's gonna have to be a major story point, I feel like, because you basically, I mean, like that escape was like divine intervention, and like that gotta come with a cost, right? So,
oh yeah, that was definitely in my wishes, is like not necessarily for next session immediately, but like that's gonna come back, and that'll be fun when that happens.
I feel like there's a contest role in your future where the two of you are like after something or doing something, and then you like have to like go against each other or something. Yeah, it'd be kind of cool.
Another wish as well is to like I like it coming back in each of our subsequent incursions, the sort of like link between Osto and Esfahan, especially if we dig into more of Esfahan's darker parts. I'm really curious to see how like that will develop and change Osto as a character too.
Yeah, it was a star for me how the two of you like act, like last session especially, like actively worked on that as a like, you know, it's like, okay, we have this condition, we have this thing that happened, like what does this look like in the fiction? And then as players, you like actively work together to make it be a cool thing in the story. And so I really appreciated that. I thought it was super cool. Any other stars or wishes?
Star for just the Rime Palace living up to all of the Fae shenanigans I was hoping it would contain. I thought that was great. I wasn't expecting the wolves to give a riddle. That was that was a fun bit.
You got to do great big parts of it too. I mean, there were some parts that like you could have like the Masquerade Ball. There was a lot more that could have happened there if you hadn't run. But again, like I know why you did, but like there was clearly more to do with like the topiaries and all that stuff, right? And there are a couple of other like little things here and there, but you still got to do a great big portion of it, I think. So yeah.
Now that you reminded me, definite star for Star Bowl as a whole. I just enjoy it greatly. And a wish that I just remembered is I wish Esfahan could get through the majority of an incursion without getting to 5 ruin.
Without being a 5 ruin. I know, you get to 5 ruins so fast. I mean, you can take, I mean, like, depending on like where the ruin's coming from, you can take risk rolls to try to like reduce your ruin. Like you can have someone try to heal you, if they're willing to do a risk roll to do it, right? I mean, it's dangerous, but it's not unheard of. Like if you have the right equipment and you have the right skills, you can try to like reduce it. But yeah, that's just something, I guess. But this rune was kind of coming from slightly different places, so it's a little different, I guess. But yeah.
I have one last star, I think, which is I thought we had really good devil's bargains and like things that could go wrong this time. I thought everyone was like really on the ball with good offerings for that. So star to everyone for their excellent suggestions.
Yeah, I can tell everyone's really like thinking ahead in the story and like kind of how to like where the story should go. And I think that's really cool. That's the purpose of it. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay, well, if there are no other stars and wishes, I'm going to ask you all to wave goodbye to the viewers of the YouTube video.